Hi everybody, and welcome to Love Doing Yoga. Thanks so much for joining me this evening. Hope all is good with you. And today we are going to be doing a lot of chest opening, some arm work. So we'll be nice and toned on the arms. As always, throughout the practice, listen to your body. Only do what feels right for you today. So without further ado, let us begin by lying down. Just making yourself comfortable on the mat. Lying whatever way works for you to start with. As we begin to come into the moment, setting aside everything that's going on in your life and in the world. Leaving the busyness outside the door and giving yourself permission to slow down, recharge. Becoming aware of your connection with the earth, connection with the mat. Focusing in on the connection points of your legs and the mat. Allowing the legs to be heavy and be held. And letting that attention move up to the top of your pelvis and your glutes. And again, just allowing yourself to soften into the mat. And letting that awareness move on upwards to your shoulder blades and your connection with the mat. And your arms and hands and the connection with the mat. And the back of your head and the mat. Just allowing yourself to be held here. And letting that attention now move to your breath as you breathe in through your nose, into your belly, and out through your nose. Letting the belly fill on the inhale and relax on the exhale. And just beginning to count your breath, counting the inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Stopping a second and exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, and inhale. And continuing to count your inhales and your exhales in your head. See, can you begin to make the exhale a count or two longer than the inhale? Noticing that little moment of suspension, of nothingness between the inhale and the exhale. And taking 5 more breaths like this. And after your next exhale, just bending your knees and rolling over onto your side to come up to sitting. And I will say hi to Maxine and Natalie, Sharon and Erin. Great to have you along this evening. If you have a block, you might want to sit on it. Remembering sitting on the edge, so your seat bones are on the edge of the block, equal weight on both seat bones. Beginning to allow the spine to lengthen. And let's start by drawing a little tiny circle with your nose. And let's start to make that circle bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, spiraling it all the way out. So you're drawing as big a circle with your nose as you can. And then let's start to go the other way. And this time spiraling inwards. So the circle becomes smaller and smaller and smaller. And coming to stillness, let's lift the shoulders up around the ears, push them back and drop them down. And again, up, back and down, up, back and down. And then bringing your hands onto your shoulders, let's just begin to draw really nice big circles with the elbows. As big as you can make them. And whatever direction you're going in, let's take that in the opposite direction. Good. And bringing it to a halt. Let's just take a little bend over to the left. So reaching up with that right hand, opening up the right hand side of your rib cage. Breathing into that right lung. Good. Inhaling, finding length in the spine. Exhaling, going a little deeper into that bend. Keeping the chest nice and open. Lovely. And coming up tall, let's take that to the other side. And remembering, as you open up the rib cage to the left, we still want to maintain a little gap here between that lower rib of the right side and the hip. So we're not collapsing down. Lovely. And coming back to the center. Let's from here just come onto all fours and curl those toes. Push the hips back towards the heels as we come straight up into our dog. So coming up slowly, you're not at all warmed up yet. Keep those knees bent. Keep the heels up off the floor and just pedal your way into your version of your downward dog. Wherever that is, however bent your knees are, however far off the floor your heels are, you want a nice long spine, pushing your hips back towards the back of the mat. Head coming, so your ears are nearly touching your arms. Gaze towards the belly button. And from here, just walking your feet up to meet your hands, bend the legs, and come all the way up to stand. Good. And from here, standing up nice and tall, just allowing those palms to face towards the front, checking in with your alignment here. Are your feet in a nice straight line? Equal weight spread across the feet. Standing up tall, having the quads engaged. Chest nice and open with those palms facing towards the front. Inhaling here. And as you exhale, lifting that pelvic floor, bringing the belly button in and up so you start to bring a little bit of engagement into your core. Let's take 3 more breaths like this. Lifting that pelvic floor, belly button in and up. Good, and softening that stance, let's just begin to allow ourselves to swing. Letting the arms swing, letting the torso swing, but just keeping the feet in the one place. And slowing it all down. To come to stillness, we're going to just roll our way down. So like gravity is taking us, as though somebody is really gently drawing our hands down. Letting the shoulders round, letting the spine round. We're rounding the whole way down, so it's not like your forward bend. We're just rolling down. When you get to a point where you feel you need to bend your knees, bend your knees. And just keep making your way all the way down till your hands are on the earth. And then just lifting the hands and holding on to each elbow. Take a gentle little swing backwards and forwards. And then coming to stillness, let's just allow the hands to come back down onto the floor and really slowly as you came down, roll all the way back up again. Until you're back standing tall, and once again opening those palms outward, letting the chest open up into a lovely mountain pose. Good. Let's run through a couple of sun salutes now to warm up. And I know a lot of you are very familiar with your sun salutes. So go at your own pace if you know them. Go with your own style. If you're not so familiar with sun salutes, stick with me. So let's raise the arms up and come forward into a forward fold, bending from the hips all the way down. Bend your knees as much as you need to. And halfway lift. Nice long spine here, keeping the gaze on the floor in front of you. And forward fold. Let's step that right leg back. And drop the knee, open the foot, rise up into a low lunge, lifting your gaze up to the ceiling. And hands down. Either side of the foot, we're going to step back into a plank. In the plank, keeping that core engaged, nice little micro bend in the elbows, and making your way down to the ground through knees, feet, keep the elbows in, chest comes down, roll through to a cobra, and pushing up through tabletop back into our downward dog. So curl the toes, push the hips back, and lift up into your dog. From here, we want to get that right foot forward by whatever means works for you. So you can come down onto all fours, step the right foot forward, or just bring it to wherever it will go and help it the rest of the way, or step it right through. So whatever works for you as we come into a low lunge on this side. And hands down, either side of the foot, stepping that back foot up to meet the front, bend the knees, and come all the way up. Good, let's take that on the other side. Hands coming up, Sweeping down into a forward fold. And a halfway lift. Forward fold, left leg goes back this time. And rise up into your low lunge. And transitioning from here into our plank. Making your way down through knees, feet, chest. Cobra. And up through tabletop into your downward dog. Getting that left leg up to the top of the mat by whatever means works for you. Dropping the right knee for your low lunge. And hands down either side of the foot, stepping that right foot up to meet the left. Coming all the way up. Good, let's take that again on each side. Hands coming up, sweeping forward, forward fold. And halfway lift. Forward fold, right leg goes back for a low lunge. And stepping it back out into your plank. Coming down through knees, feet, chest. And your cobra. Pushing up through tabletop, adjust if you need to come into your downward dog. And let's get that right foot up to the top of the mat. Dropping the left knee for a low lunge on this side. And stepping it up to come all the way up. Good, last side. Hands go up and forward fold. Halfway lift. Forward fold, left leg goes back. Low lunge on this side. And hands down, stepping it back into a plank. And coming down through knees, feet, chest, and a cobra. Pushing up through tabletop into your downward dog. And let's get this left leg up to the top of the mat as we come into a low lunge. And step it up to a forward fold, bending the knees to come all the way up. Good, hopefully that's warmed you up on this chilly autumnal August evening. And from here, raising the arms up. Don't forget, if you need a rest at any time, just go into a child's pose or a comfortable position and take a break and then come back and join us when you're ready. Let's come into a forward fold once again. And a halfway lift. And a forward fold. We're going to step the right leg back and the left leg to come into our plank. Opening those fingers out nice and wide, almost clawing into the mat, but gently. You're not gripping the mat, just having a bit of pressure on the fingertips here in the mat. Keeping that bend in the elbows. Good. And let's come down through our knees, feet, chest, and into our cobra. So in cobra, we want to keep those elbows in so your shoulder blades are back. Chest is nice and open. And we're going to push up here onto all fours, and we're going to step the right foot forward. So we're in our low lunge, but let's now inch that left leg back a little bit further. So you really start to bring a stretch into the left quad and into the hips. Checking in with your right foot. So we want to have the knee over the ankle, pressing into the mat with your big toe, just to help it lift the arch up a little bit. So we're not squeezing or pushing hard into that toe. It's just a little bit of pressure into the big toe. Opening the arms out into a T here, and we're going to just twist. So we're looking to the left with the arms in the T. And let's start to draw little circles with those arms. First in one direction, and then in the other. And then coming to stillness, taking 3 breaths. Noticing how your body is in all sorts of different directions here. Becoming aware of the shape, the space you're filling. And swinging back to look to the center. Let's bring the hands down either side of that foot and step it back into our plank. And from here, coming down through knees, feet, elbows into your onto your chest and rolling through to your cobra. And then from here we're going to push up through tabletop, this time into our downward dog. And from here, bringing that left foot up to the front of the mat, whatever way you want. Drop that right knee, open out the foot, and let's inch that right leg back just a little bit, just to give yourself a bit more of a challenge without inflicting any pain. Rising the torso up, bringing the arms out to the side, and let's twist to the right. And let's do little circles with those arms. First in one direction, and then in the other. And then coming to stillness, taking 3 breaths here. And swinging it back to the center, hands down, either side of the foot, curling the toes, stepping back into your plank. Good. Let's take 3 rounds of breath here. Again, once you're in the pose, allow your attention to move to your breath. It'll take your mind off the pose. And you can ease into it. And then coming down through knees, feet, chest, and rolling through into your cobra, pushing all the way back into your downward dog. Good. We're going to stay in downward dog here for a couple of breaths. So again, thinking about pushing out through the hips, pushing those hips towards the back of the mat. Nice long spine here. Relaxing into the pose. Once you are where you're comfortable, relax into it. Think about broadening out the shoulders so they're away from the ears. Good, and now we're going to step that right leg up to the top. And this time we're going to step the left foot across so it's in line, the 2 heels are in line with each other, allowing that left foot to turn inwards slightly, bending that right knee as we come all the way up into our warrior 2. And in our warrior 2, we have our arms out in the T once again, looking out over your right hand. Just check that your torso is in the center of your body. So sometimes what tends to happen is we tend to be a little bit forward with the body. We want to keep it in the center of the body. Have equal weight in both feet. Gently pressing into the mat with that big toe on both feet. Good. Let's draw a couple of circles with these arms. First one way, and then the other. And then bending this right elbow, let's reach all the way up into a nice long side angle. Stretching the arm up. And then watching the hand as you come all the way up to
stand, let's take these hands and bring them into reverse prayer behind you if you can. Let me show you what I mean. So if you're able to do this, great. If you can't quite reach, just have them wherever they go, even if it's on your hips, just so that your chest becomes really open. And here we're going to go into the same pose, into that side angle. Good. Let's engage that core now as you exhale, lifting the pelvic floor, bring the belly button in and up. One more breath. And making your way all the way up. Let's unravel the arms and bring the hands down either side of that right foot, twisting that left foot so it's upright, and step back into your downward dog. Good. Taking 3 breaths here. And we're going to step that left foot forward. Line up the right foot so the heels are in a line. Bending that left knee, making your way up to your warrior 2 on this side. Keeping the shoulders soft. And let's draw those little circles with the arms. First in one direction, and then in the other. And then coming to stillness, keeping the torso in the center, equal weight on both feet. Good. And let's bend that left elbow and reach it all the way across for our side angle pose on this side, keeping that chest nice and open. So it's looking towards the back wall or whatever wall you're looking at. Good. One more breath here. And bringing the body up. Let's bring those hands into prayer. And let's make our way into a nice side angle here. Lifting your gaze up towards the ceiling if you can. Remembering as you exhale, lift the pelvic floor, bring the belly button in and up. Engaging that core with your breath. And making your way up to upright. Unraveling the hands. Bringing them down either side of the foot and stepping back into your downward dog. And one more breath here. And we're going to step that right foot up to the top of the mat. Again, lining up those feet so their heels are in line. And coming all the way up. This time we're going to straighten that right leg. Bringing the arms out into a T. Reaching forward with the right hand this time. And let's windmill down into a triangle. So just watch your alignment here. So often we are really eager to get all the way down here. And when we get all the way down here, our whole body starts to fall forward. And that's losing all the goodness of the pose. So we really want a straight line, as if there was 2 planes of glass, one on either side. And we're trying to stay in the center of those. Letting your gaze go up to the ceiling. Good. Remembering as you exhale, lift that pelvic floor, bring the belly button in and up. and coming upright, bending that right knee, putting your hands onto your hips. We're going to step that left foot forward. Toes touching, heels a little bit apart. I can hear the groans as we sit down into our chair position. Let those arms come out to the side, and now let them move to the back. And as they're at the back, let's hold it here for 3, palms facing upwards. 3 breaths. Let that attention move to the breath. Good, soft shoulders. Lovely. And let the arms come down as we let the right hand come down to the outside of our left foot. And let's take a twist here. Lifting your gaze to that raised arm. Good. Engaging the core on the exhale. And letting that hand come all the way down. Let's just turn those toes outwards as we make our way down into a squat. If you find this difficult, come up onto your toes and just come down to wherever is comfortable for you. So it could be up here, that's fine. Try to keep the spine nice and long. That's really what we want here, is a nice long spine. If you're down with your feet in some way on the floor, think about bringing the hands into prayer, pushing the elbows against the legs and the legs against the elbows. So you're just creating a little bit of pressure here. Good. Nice long spine. Lovely. Putting the hands onto the floor, allowing yourself to come up and step back into your downward dog. Good, and now we're going to take that to the other side. So that left foot comes forward, line up the right foot, heel to heel, bend the knee as you come up, and once you're up, straighten that leg. Opening the arms out into a T. Let's do another little circle here. First one direction, then the other. And then turning your gaze to the front of that left hand, let's reach forward with the left hand. Allow that right hip to push backwards as we then windmill down into our triangle. Nice open chest. Allowing the gaze to look to the ceiling. Good. Remembering on that exhale, lift the pelvic floor, bring the belly button in and up. And bending that right knee, coming all the way up. Hands onto the hips, let's step it forward. So bringing those toes together, heels a little bit apart, bending those knees as we sink down into our chair and let those arms come out backwards. Palms facing upwards. Good. 3 more breaths here. And let's let that left hand come down on the outside of the right leg and raise up that right hand. Turning the gaze. One more breath. And allowing the hand to come down. Turning those toes out as you come down into your squat once more. Hands in prayer, elbows pushing into the knees or into the legs. Legs against the elbows. And one more breath. Good. Letting the hands come onto the floor. Let's make our way all the way down to sitting. Sitting up tall here. Equal weight on both seat bones. Nice long spine. Letting the hands come down by the hips as we inhale, finding that length in the spine. And as we exhale, engaging that core by lifting the pelvic floor, bring the belly button in and up. And with our right hand, we're going to reach forward, bend your left knee as much as you need to just hold on to your toe of your left foot. And we're going to lift that left leg up. So feel free to keep this leg as bent as you feel is right for you and your body. And then let's just take that left arm and open it out. So we're really opening the chest again here, keeping the shoulders soft. Good, keeping those arms raised. Taking 2 more breaths. Nice long spine. And straightening up, letting that leg down. Let's just take that to the other side. So the left fingers holding on to that right leg, lifting it up. And let's open it out into our heron pose. I've never seen a heron look like this, but there you go. It's called a heron pose. And coming all the way back to center. Would you like a little bit more of a challenge? I'm sure you would. Bend those knees. Hold on to both toes with the right hand. Lift yourself up. Find your point of balance, using your core to help you. And open out here. So really all that practicing you've been doing with lifting that pelvic floor, bringing the belly button in and up should really help you here. Using that exhale to bring stability. And one more breath. Good, bending those knees, coming back to the center. Let's take that to the other side. So again, lifting up, find your point of balance. Open out that right hand. Using the core to help you. And one more breath. Coming all the way back to center, keeping those knees bent, feet on the floor. Let's just bring our right elbow onto the back of our left leg. And let's just take an extra deep twist. So you've really been stretching that spine. Hopefully your chest is feeling really open now. The shoulders are free. And taking one more breath here. Let's come back to center and take it to the other side. Good, one more breath. And coming back to center, we're gonna just whoosh ourselves forward onto our toes. Let's find a point of balance here, bringing the hands to heart center. Find a gaze point. Nice long spine. Lovely, 2 more breaths. And allowing the hands to come down, let's just step it back onto all fours. Nice. Lengthen the spine, gazing onto the mat in front of you, legs straight out behind you, keeping those hips over the knees. Good. Little micro bend in the elbows, having the crease of those elbows looking at each other. And we're going to raise this left hand up and bring it all the way through to thread the needle. Let's do that 3 times. So 1 and through, 2 and through, 3 and through, and lying here for 3 breaths. And coming up onto all fours, let's take that to the other side, reaching that right hand up and threading it through. And doing that 3 more times, reaching the arm up. And 2. And 3. And now bringing it all the way through, letting that shoulder rest on the floor as we take 3 more breaths. Making your way back up onto all fours, and then allowing yourself to move all the way down onto your belly, letting your forehead come to the floor. And then let's just cross both hands and let your forehead lie on your arms. So you've got a really baby back bend going on here. And allowing the forearms to come to the floor, elbows under the shoulders. Gaze looking up for your Sphinx pose. So a little bit more of a back bend here. As you're exhaling here, really begin to bring engagement into the core, because we're going to move into our cobra. And the more your core is engaged for your cobra, the stronger and easier you'll find the pose. And allowing that forehead to come to the earth again. Bringing those hands back either side of the chest. Elbows in and back. Your hands are only there for support. They're really not weight bearing at all. So as you inhale, begin to lift the chest up off the floor. Engaging that core as you come into your cobra. Keeping the gaze on the mat in front of you. Let's stay for 3 more breaths. Good. 1 more breath. And allowing the head to lower all the way down. And from here, pushing up through tabletop to come and lie down on your back. And from here, bending those knees, letting them fall out to the left. And letting your arms come out into that now very familiar T. You can stay like this, or if you like, you can let the legs go all the way out, straight, if that works for you. Bending those knees, coming back through center. Let's take that over to the other side. And again, let those legs come out straight if space permits. Letting the head turn in the opposite direction. So we've been doing a lot of twisting from the bottom up in the practice. And this final twist is just from the waist down. And you can stay in this pose if you like, or if you'd like a little bit more of a challenge, you can just bend those knees. I'm going to push up into a shoulder stand. So from here, you might want to just rock up to lift yourself up with those legs in front, up over your head. And from here, I'm going to let those legs lower down towards the floor. And then see, can you walk them a little bit over to the left? And we'll stay here for 3 breaths. Only do what feels right for you. And then let's just walk them over to the right. I hope I don't put my foot in the candle. And bringing them back to the center. Bend those knees. And just gently lower yourself down onto the mat. Hugging those knees into the chest. Just gently massage out your back. And as you're doing that, I will take this opportunity to say thank you very much for joining me this evening. I hope you enjoyed that you're well twisted. And in the yoga sense of the word. Next Wednesday, we are going to be moving to a slightly new platform. So we'll still be on Facebook, if you come onto the Facebook group, but you will need to just click on the link and register with Crowdcast, because that's where our hosting is going to move to. We'll be putting a link up tomorrow, so you can log on in advance. You'll only need to log on the first time, and then it'll remember you, but you will need to log on the first time. So we hope it's going to help us to communicate with you better and to understand what practices seem to be the most popular and that type of thing, so that we can bring you more of what you want. And if you're a patron, we'll be sending an email with all the details about it. Or you can always go to lovedoingyoga.com and get the details. Anyway, that's enough chitter chatter from me, other than if you're not a patron, we'd love you to become one for just €5 a month. You can do the practices at any time and also get bonus practices. Okay, let us now allow our bodies to relax. So, opening the body out into Shavasana, lying nice and long on the mat, palms facing upwards, shoulder blades nice and flat against the mat. And allowing our body to just absorb all of that work, all of that twisting.
all of that arm work. As we begin to totally let go, just letting go your toes and the soles of your feet, letting go the tops of your feet, your heels and ankles, your shins and calves, letting go your knees and your thighs, letting go your glutes, the small of your back, your shoulder blades, your whole pelvic area, belly, chest. Just let it all go. Letting go your shoulders and armpits, your upper arms, elbows, forearms, wrists, backs of your hands, palms of your hands, and fingers. Just let it all go. Letting go the back of your head, the crown of your head, your forehead, eyebrows, eyes, cheeks, jaws, chin, tongue, lips. Just let it all go. And connecting with your breath. Breathing in through your nose, into your belly, and out through your nose. Thinking of your breath as a reflection of your mind, nice and steady, calm, rhythmic, and relaxed. And just taking a moment here of gratitude to yourself and to each other for practicing together, and for anything you have to be grateful for in your life today. And with that connection with your breath, take yourself to your favorite place and spend a little time here.